News Radio. So Sarkozy has gone crazy. Sarkozy has recognized these rebels, this gaggle of fanatics who are losing precisely in the moment where the tide turned and the Stalingrad battle went against the rebels in Libya on Thursday, March 10th. Sarkozy picks that day to recognize them under the influence of the widely discredited Bernard-Henri Lévy, who has been a complete warmonger for Iraq. He's been pressing the French to get up to their necks in Iraq, and also bombing Sudan. He's a warmonger all over the place. The specific proposal from Bernard-Henri Lévy is he wants the Egyptian army to invade Libya. I guess he wants to send them west so that they don't have any chance to go east against the Israelis, which I think is what Bernard-Henri Lévy is also thinking about. But Sarkozy now unstable. Remember, Guy Mollet was the guy not only with Suez, but with the Battle of Algiers in 1957, right? We've seen that movie, pretty horrible atrocities by the French. Does Sarkozy want to bring the Battle of Algiers, 1957, is that going to become the Battle of Tripoli, 2011, where they repress the pro-Gaddafi people? That's hard to do. And then we have the Colonel Blimps across the English Channel. Colonel Blimp, look him up. He's a figure for British imperialism, for the spirit of Suez. Sir Anthony Eden, who simply became apoplectic every time he saw Nasser, he just went crazy. So now we have Cameron and Haig. And what we can say about Sarkozy, Cameron, and Haig is their hobby for the past 6 months has been raping the students and workers in their own population with their austerity measures, never laying a glove on the fat cat bankers of Paris and the city of London. Of course not. No significant measures to make the people who brought you the crisis, the derivatives bankers, pay for it. So now they're tired of raping the students and workers of their own countries. They're now interested in raping Libya. Remember that Libya has the largest concentration of oil reserves of any country in Africa, more than Nigeria. The Nigerian production right now is more, but the future possibilities for Libya are greater than any other country in that vast African continent. And, of course, Haig, these Tories, they're right-wingers, they're imperialists. Haig has got egg all over his face because of this British mission, right? 6 Special Air Services butchers. We know them from Northern Ireland. A couple of MI6 characters, one perhaps disguised as a Foreign Office guy, and they're captured near Benghazi by the rebels. What were they doing? They're planning landing strips and staging areas for an invasion. What do you think they're doing? And they're not there on a humanitarian mission. There are also 3 Dutch Marines caught inside Lebanon. And soon we'll have U.S. advisors, supposedly humanitarian, although who believes it? So this is all going on now. In the Brussels meeting today, it's clear that the lunatic duo of Sarkozy and Bernard-Henri Lévy have done us a favor, because with their incendiary rhetoric, they have created quite a backlash in Europe. Merkel of Germany says that she was surprised by this when Sarko went for the rebels, but Merkel is not in favor of an attack. She's very skeptical. The German interior minister, who I think is a chauvinist, but in this case just the man we need, de Maizière, the German interior minister, says we should take no action. Fine. The Italians, of course, have the most to lose because of the Italian investments in Libya. The Italian Foreign Minister Frattini says that Italy would not participate in any French-British bombing campaign, and that's very important because that Sicily air base is the closest to Tripoli, to the targets they'd want to hit. You can do it from southern France, but it's a whole lot further. You can do it from Greece, too. Maybe the socialists there will help co-sponsor that. But Frattini says Italy will not participate. Now, if you can't use the Italian bases, it makes it very, very hard to do. The Italian Interior Minister Maroni says the U.S. should take a sedative and calm down. But this is now quite broad. The Czech president says, let's not kid ourselves, a no-fly zone means war. And that's, of course, what Gates has been saying. Belgium says that there is no support for this, and so on down the line. So the European heads of state, heads of government decide nothing. And I think with that, we may have passed the critical point, because if they were going to intervene, it would have to be in the wake of the Stalingrad, and now that they haven't done it. Russia obviously opposed, although not as militant an opposition as we'd like. Russia says a no-fly zone would have to be studied very carefully. If it means 5 years, that's fine, but who knows how long. China, of course, opposed, but not taking the lead in any of this. For Obama, his press conference now on Friday, the 11th of March, some rhetoric, but not much. He's afraid of a Bay of Pigs. He's afraid of taking the course that Kennedy did not take. But some others in the Democratic Party, for example, Senator Kerry, the rich elitist, this oligarch, this patrician Kerry, right, the snob, an effete snob, he says, "Oh, let's not do what we did in Iraq in 1991, where we have a no-fly zone and then we let the Shiites get crushed." He's a complete interventionist, right? He's eager for a wider war, and remember, this means a fourth war, because you're practically at war with Pakistan, plus Iraq, plus Afghanistan. So the Europeans not doing anything, and I guess that at the moment is fine. NATO with Rasmussen says you have to have a clear need, a legal basis, and a regional base of support. Now, whether you could get anything through the UN Security Council is not clear, but let's not be overconfident. The Europeans are now going to have a European Union, Arab League, and African Union summit about Libya. That's fine. Let them keep talking. But now on the ground, Egypt is moving towards chaos. We've had now an attack on a Coptic church with 10 or 15 people killed. We've had the junta getting very rough, including shots fired and some people hit in various street actions in Egypt. Saudi Arabia, we've had $36 billion of concessions by the king to get some goodwill, and indeed his largesse is much appreciated. American people would like to have $36 billion, and this is a larger population. We don't get anything because we don't have the mass actions that we need to. But Saudi Arabia, I think, seems to have suppressed this day of rage that was supposed to occur today, March 11th. Bahrain, it's still going on. Sudan is divided into two parts. In Yemen, the revolt against President Saleh goes on, 2 parts again there. Algeria, ferment there. Morocco, the king has made some constitutional reforms. But again, you see it's spreading all over the world. Some people are now raising the idea that Egypt and Saudi Arabia ought to be the ones imposing the no-fly zone. But I think the answer to that is they can't, because it takes a very tall order. Now, what's the parallel? Bernard-Henri Lévy, right, with his intellectual pretension, says this is the greatest event now of the 21st century so far. Wrong. 9/11 is easily as big an event, and what you've got now is the continuation of 9/11 with other means, as I've been arguing now for 3 to 4 years. The Brzezinski faction is not different from the neocons in their goals. The goal is the perpetuation of Anglo-American world domination, but the neocons want to do it with direct military means and right-wing, racist, militarist, fascistoid ideology. The Brzezinski group says, no, we do it with human rights, with soft power, with destabilizations, color revolutions. And you can see that some of these work, but all it takes is for 1 or 2 of the big ones to fail, as in Libya, and the entire model then comes under stress. Lévy, of course, says that this is going to lead to democratic singing tomorrows across the world. Let's go back in the next hour and compare this to 1848, because that's the wave of revolutions that it's comparable to, and this is not encouraging for the destabilization forces. Back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.